Hi everybody, Craig here. Welcome to episode 4 of my 4-player free-for-all Age of Wonders 4 playthrough series. In this series, I'm playing as Straelak Soulreaper, and I'm leading the human Hollowkin. For more information on my leader and race specifications and characteristics, please check the video description. In our last episode, we made a very risky decision to go to war with our newly discovered opponent. And you can see here we have Kaer Enchanter, who is leading the Lizard Industrialists. So appears to have Materium primarily affinity there. You can see here Materium affinity and also a little bit of Astral affinity. So we went to war with this guy, and I don't know if it was the right choice. We did manage to strike and kill one of his stacks here that had 4 units in it, and that was a fairly successful battle. But now, of course, we've got a number of enemy units that are kind of on the, I guess you would say, the border of our vassal city here. You can see, though, we do know where one of my opponent's cities are, so we may have a target to try to eventually move to siege, although I suspect we're probably going to have to handle a counterattack or two since we really dealt the first blow. So it'll be very interesting to see if we're able to weather the tide. And of course, remember, the AI are on the hardest difficulty, so things could get pretty nasty pretty fast. Now, before I jump into the episode proper, I did just want to give a couple of quick shout-outs to a few individuals who left some excellent comments on the previous episode. The first of those comments is from David Houston. David pointed out that evolution in Age of Wonders 4 is slightly different from what I'm used to in Age of Wonders 3. In Age of Wonders 3, typically units would evolve from Tier 1 into a Tier 3 unit, or occasionally from Tier 1 into a Tier 2 unit. However, in Age of Wonders 4, there are some units that will evolve from Tier 2 all the way up to Tier 4. And so just being aware of which, for example, some of the different spider variants can vary depending on which one they are. So just a good thing to keep in mind to always pay attention, because you may be able to get a Tier 4 unit fairly early in the game if you can acquire one of those Tier 2s that would evolve. So I appreciate David pointing that out. David also mentioned that Cryomancy wasn't a bad choice for my next tome. Going after some of the spells that provide the slowing effects actually might not be so bad, so things like the Frost Blades, and then there's another spell that I believe is Arrows as well, which should be pretty decent choices, and that will actually pair nicely with what I have. So I appreciate David kind of helping me feel a little better for the choice that I made in regards to sticking with another Shadow Affinity tome. The next comment here is from Bonatop. Bonatop pointed out that kind of on that same point, rainbow toming, meaning choosing tomes that are of different affinities to what you've kind of specialized in initially, is generally considered to be somewhat overpowered, or at least a very advisable thing to do. And of course, as I mentioned here, I've chosen to go with Cryomancy as my next tome, even though I started off with the Tome of Souls, which is a Shadow Affinity tome. So I'm kind of doubling down on Shadow Affinity, and I'm planning to actually triple down on it, and that's because I really want to get Necromancy, because as always, Necromancer is my favorite class from Age of Wonders 3, so I'd love to try out the Necromancy tome in Age of Wonders 4. But Bonatop's kind of mentioning that, again, it's generally advisable to spread it out a little bit, or at least that can be very advantageous. So, unfortunately, I've kind of mainlined going Shadow Affinity, but that is useful to know going forward. And, of course, maybe after, if things are still going well, after I've done Necromancy, maybe I can jump over to something else. The next comments here are from Death. Death pointed out that I'm actually kind of lucky that my opponent insulted me prior to me declaring war, as that negated some of the negative penalties I might have otherwise suffered for declaring war without any kind of justification. So I didn't even realize that, so that's great to know. Death also mentioned that the Ice Blades and Arrows combo there, the spells from Cryomancy, would be helpful, so I appreciate that, kind of doubling up on what David had mentioned as well. And then Death pointed out that since I'm a Dark Civilization, one thing to remember is that the negative stability cost, so if we look here, if your city stability jumps into the negatives, you can start to suffer income penalties. However, and this is very fortunate for me, since I am Dark, you can see their cities can negate city stability income penalties. So that would mean that I don't have to worry quite so much about the negative stability, because I have ways to negate that. So that's actually very, very good to know, and a good thing to remember. Death also pointed out that, similar to kind of what Bonatop was saying, that specializing into other affinities that aren't necessarily the same type as the one you've started with can actually be very advantageous, and there can be a lot of synergies. So definitely something, again, this is really my first kind of major playthrough of Age of Wonders 4, so definitely still learning as I go, but it'll be kind of interesting to see how I'm able to handle kind of focusing in on mostly just Shadow, and then maybe in subsequent playthroughs I'll try kind of the more rainbow approach to see how that goes. So could be kind of a nice compare and contrast. We also have some comments here from Devin Larson. Devin pointed out that I'm probably going to be expecting, or I should expect, a horde of enemy units to come from my enemy's domain here, potentially since I've declared war. I suspect, as I was mentioning in the intro, that there's probably going to be a counterattack. So Devin suggesting that I maybe might want to think about playing a bit defensively and kind of bracing for that impact. So I appreciate the advice. Devin also pointed out that my throne city is able to annex another province, and I should do that before I end the turn. So I will certainly do that here, but we will finish going through the comments before I do anything else here. Devin also mentioned that I need to be careful not to use one... So just to provide some context here, I need to be careful not to use certain moves before I move my hero. And so a great example here is with Straelak. I used Restore in a battle, which costs one of my movement, and then I tried to move him afterwards. And what Devin is pointing out is that because this only costs one, I should probably consider just moving Straelak, as far as I can or as far as I want to, and then throwing Restore on kind of at the end. And that's a really, really good point, that I should, if I need him to move to be somewhere, I can do that without having to worry, because I'm going to get to cast this at the end of my turn anyway. So I appreciate Devin pointing that out. It's a good, just kind of strategic reminder. Devin also mentioned that generally producing the boosted structure is often a good idea, and he agreed with me going, for example, with Blacksmith here because it was a boosted production. So I appreciate that insight. As always, guys, a huge thank you for the excellent comments and suggestions, and especially appreciated since I am still kind of figuring things out as I go. So we are in tough, though, for this episode, so let's see if we can... see if we can handle this war that we've now declared. I'm worried that maybe we've poked the bear and now we're going to suffer the wrath, but we shall see. Okay, so as was mentioned here, why don't we look at what we can do for acquisition or annexing of another province? So I noticed we've got a few options where we could build perhaps a forester or farms. We've got more options for quarries as well. I'm kind of inclined to maybe try a forester. We don't have any yet. And let me just double check here on our build structure tab. So foresters might be helpful for... Let's see. The armory is quarries. The academy, we would need one forester. Do we already have one forester? Let me see. We've got a quarry, and a forester. Okay, my bad. We already have a forester there. So maybe we should look again and just see what else would help us. Another quarry would get us an armory faster. A farm would get us the experimentation chamber more quickly. The stonemason, we would need 2 farms. So maybe it is time to just build a farm. Although the monolith would give us access to... additional mana income, and that one requires another quarry. So, I don't know. That is kind of tempting. We're eventually going to need to build this town hall, and thankfully it's now boosted, so that's probably going to be our next production choice. And the big thing there is that's going to give us access to the warlock, which is definitely something we need access to. I think those are very useful units to have in our stacks because of those weakening bolts and that sundering curse. So I would like to be able to produce them. We also get access to the interrogation dungeon as well as a producible structure. But let's see. So probably either a quarry or maybe get our first farm wouldn't be the worst idea. I'm thinking maybe that additional quarry might be not so bad. Again, I really like boosting production. I'm kind of notorious for that in Age of Wonders 3. So let's see here. So this structure over here could go one of these ones here with quarries. You know what? Maybe we'll build... Let's build down here. We'll build a quarry right here. There we go. And hopefully that's not the worst idea. Maybe on the next one we'll build our first farm. Like once we can annex another province. Spells ready to launch. We've got the Bone Golem spell kind of waiting in the wings. Again, the idea there was we're going to see if we can produce a couple of skeletons and then use that to combine them into a Bone Golem. All right, so we've used up all of our movement, I believe. Let's see, negotiation succeeded. Oh, excellent. Okay, so Dimtur, as I mentioned, now our vassal, which is fantastic. We can try and move them up to getting our bonded vassalage with them, but for now, we will be very happy to have them as our vassal. We've already boosted our allegiance with them during this diplomatic state, so it's going to take 2 more turns to get them as our bonded vassal. And I think that's going to about do it for our turn here, unless there was anything else we wanted to cast. Really, though, we've got all our strategic spells going, so I think we'll end it there. Boy, I am a little bit nervous, though. I must say, this is kind of scary. Ooh, yeah, here comes some... What is that? That is a... Oh, we'll wait till the turn's done before we try to click to see. Oh, yeah, here comes a pretty nasty doom stack. Okay, so it is our turn now. Let's take a look. Oh, man, look at this. We've got a Tier 3 champion rank shield unit, a Tier 3 elemental, another Tier 3 elemental, Tier 2 polearm champion rank, support unit champ. So that's a very powerful stack. We're going to have to be extremely careful. Now, the good news is we've got a large number of units here. We've got this stack, and we've also got Straelak's group over here. So hopefully we're able to mount a pretty good defense, but I am concerned, I would say, given that this enemy has very strong units. Now, at some point, we're going to have to go clear out that brigand camp, and we also want to not forget that we have this pyre boar hunt over here for this Gore-Tusk piglet. So we definitely want to get over there if we can. Why don't we jump back to our throne city here real quick? We can do another skeleton in a single turn, so why don't we do that? And that's really only costing us some souls, which is our undead unit and shadow spell resource that we have. So that's great. Once we have that second skeleton, we can use our spell. Let's see. We've got an arcane research choice to make. So why don't we do... Let's see, we've got our White Witch. Or we could do Frost Blades. This is a unit enchantment. That would make all of our melee attacks do plus 4 frost damage, but minus 2 physical damage. And then plus 20% damage against frozen or slowed units. So maybe we'll grab that. I think that could actually come in handy. Obviously, there could be some negatives if we're fighting units that have frost protection. Alright, let's see what else we've got here. Oh, nice. New Empire development skill available. Ooh, look at this. Okay, we've got Shadow Binding. Magic Origin unit upkeep is reduced by 20%. Now, that could definitely help us out, especially given that we have a lot of... I believe most of our undead are considered Magical Origin. Let me just double-check that. Undead... Yeah, there it is, Magic Origin. And the undead cost mana for upkeep, and mana is kind of tricky to keep, nice and full, at least our stockpiles of it. So I would be very happy to, I think, reduce that upkeep. So why don't we do that? All right. Now, one positive aspect of really focusing on the Shadow Affinity is that we could potentially get some of these very high-level abilities more quickly. So... things like immediately reveal the full world map. Your throne city gains infinite sensing range. Armies in sensing range reveal their numbers and allegiance. We've got, things like universal camouflage. Your heroes gain experience faster. All your heroes instantly gain +1 rank. Instantly gain a huge chunk of knowledge. So there are some pretty nice things that are available to us if we keep focusing on Shadow Affinity, but... again, might be better to focus a bit more broadly in the future. But for now, in this game, we're going to go with what we've got. We will eventually get access to this military engineering. Outposts would cost less gold and take 1 less turn to build. And they would start with a work camp, which could be kind of nice. Especially since we haven't built any yet, but we're hoping to in the future. All right, so enough delaying here, let's see what we want to do with Straelak. So one thing I might do with him is just head over and clear out this Marauder army just to try and gain some more experience. And then we'll probably group him up with... Although, you know what? We do have to be kind of careful. Let's see. How far can this army move? Okay, so they can't really get that close to us yet. Why don't we go over here? Just want to make sure. Yeah, so that's the territory of our vassal city. We should be fine there. Go right here. And then... Oh, and you know what? None of us can engage this battle. Oh, that's unfortunate. I was hoping we'd be able to. Now, I wonder, can I send... Yes, I can. Oh, that's great. Okay, we'll send over our Storm Spirit. And the reason is we want this Storm Spirit to get some experience. So let's go over there. And then we will engage the battle. And actually, had I known that, I wouldn't have moved Straelak all the way there. Or had I thought to do this, because I could have pulled in Straelak without having been so close. But let's just do this one in manual combat here. Alright, so this should be fairly straightforward, but we want to make sure we don't take any unnecessary damage if we can avoid it. So let's just take a look at what we're up against here. I didn't really look that closely. We've got a Warg, which is like a tier 3 wolf kind of unit. Carrion Bird, and a Carrion Bird. Okay, so this is kind of that vulture unit I remember from Age of Wonders 3. It does have Searing Blades, so it'll do some fire damage to us. That might not be so great against some of our undead units that are going to have weakness to fire. Alright, Straelak, we can... See, so I could move Straelak to the edge of his movement range and still have the ability to use Restore. That was the point that was pointed out to me that was very, very good by Devin. Now, these units don't have a ranged attack as far as I can see, so I think we will move up. We don't have to worry all that much. Maybe we'll go... Well, we'll go about here when I go too close. And then we will throw a Restore onto our pikemen, I think. Perfect. And then... Oh, you know what? We should have moved the pikemen up first because now Straelak has his back to the enemy, which isn't ideal. Alright, and then our archers can move up. Our warlocks can move up. Our bone golem can advance as well. And we might as well consolidate a little bit with our storm spirit. And then I think we'll just end our turn there. Alright, so they moved up on me. That's totally fine. Now we can hit them with our Sundering Curse. Let's see. Very effective ability. Let's hit the Carrion Birds just because they have that searing damage that they can do. Oh, and you know what? Does the Warg have it as well? It must be like an effect here. Oh, yeah. See, they all have it. Okay. That must be something they're buffed with for this battle. Our archers could hit them for some decent damage. I just have to be careful. I don't want them coming in too far at me here. We could do a Dark Ritual, hit them for some damage. Alternatively, we could just blast them for some magic here. Yeah, I don't hate that. You know, it might be better to play this one a touch more defensively, but what the heck. Let's just go for some big damage here. Nice. Okay, decaying and bleeding. That's pretty good. And then we can move in and charge them here for some heavy damage. Very nice. And then let's get the kill with our pikemen. There's some regeneration for them as well. Now, our archers, not quite in range to hit the warg as they are. However, if we advance slightly... Not amazing, but we could probably hit them a little... There we go, 50%. That's a little bit better. Nice, and there's what we needed, is to apply Weaken. That was the big incentive there to do that. Now, we could use our Storm Spirit to go in there and charge them, but I'm a little bit wary of doing that. So maybe what I'll do is I'll just put the Storm Spirit right here in defense mode. And I'll also move up the Dark Warrior in defense mode as well, just for that defensive tactics buff. And then we'll end it there. Now, I'm a little nervous. I don't want my Storm Spirits getting killed. Okay, that's fine. The Pikemen taking some punishment. They have that temporary health. Oh, you can see how much damage that did, though. That was kind of nasty. Okay, so we tanked that damage without too much difficulty. Now, my Warlocks here, why don't we move up? Let them have it here with some Magic Bolts. Hopefully we apply Soulbound and Weakened. That's all we needed. That's great. That's going to make things a lot better for us now. You know what? We can step right over here with Straelak and then give him a nice Magic Blast for some big damage. Oh, yeah. Nice flank, too, there. That was great. And then why don't we jump around with our Dark Warrior all the way back here. And then hit him with that charge attack and flank. Nice. There's some regeneration as well. And then our archers. You know what? Let's just go right here. We can get the finish. Pretty decent chance of getting the finish 50%. Let's see. Oh, I guess that meant we had to hit twice. I was thinking if we just hit once, we'd get it, but that's all right. And then, you know what? We can swoop in behind them here. Give them a big set of damage here for some flanking. And then our pikemen can get the kill here. No problem. Perfect. And then our bone golem should be able to get the finish here. Fantastic. Very, very nice. And again, we are trying to get our Storm Spirit up to the champion ranks so that it can evolve into a Storm Spirit and get us a tier 3 unit, which would be very helpful. Alright, so that's going to do it for their movement for this turn. We've got our scout over here, who I almost completely forgot about. You can see Silverbridge, that independent city, does not like us. They really don't like us. So maybe our scout would be best served by going this way. Now, I think we've gone underground already over here. Let me just double check. Yeah, we have. Oh, right, and there's that Astral Rift, which is very, very strong. Right, now our undead can just stay put for now. And our Storm Spirit here, I guess we can start kind of heading back. There we go. Alright, spell is ready to launch. Yeah, we're going to keep holding off on that until we have our additional skeleton. And then I think that's going to about do it for our turn. So I am a little nervous about this stack coming at my city here. My vassal city. It's probably going to wipe out this squad here, I'm sure. Okay. Ooh, look at this. A new pawn appears before me. You look like a Gadir, but are you ready to face the likes of me? Greets me with contempt. So, really doesn't like me very much. So we'll probably end up at war with Iska Warclaw. Let's see, the race is Brutal Fey. They have a barbarian culture. Yikes. Okay, well, we will just ignore them for now. I'm not sure where they're coming at us from. Let's see if we can figure that out. Oh, down here. Okay, so they're in the water. Here you can see them. Oh, look at this. A Lightbringer. Battle Mage unit Celestial. Oh, and it has the Convert ability. Becomes mind controlled. Let's see. Now, I'm curious to know if mind control works the way it did in Age of Wonders 3, or if it's more like Age of Wonders Planetfall, where it runs out at the end of battle and you don't actually get to keep the unit. As those of you who followed the channel for a long time know, one of my favorite ways to build armies in Age of Wonders 3 is to take advantage of things like Convert and also Control Undead and those kinds of mind control afflicting abilities. So I'm curious to know if Convert works the way that it did in Age of Wonders 3, or if it's more like Age of Wonders Planetfall. I'm very much a fan of the way it worked in Age of Wonders 3, so I'm hopeful that's how it works. But I guess we'll find out eventually. Alright, so negotiations have succeeded. Okay, fantastic. We now have a bonded vassal, and it will eventually hopefully progress to a flourishing vassal. where it will share 50% of its income. All its magic materials contribute 4 to the Rally of the Lieges, continue to decrease the trading cost, and the city can be integrated. City ownership is given to the Empire forging this pact, ceases to exist as a diplomatic entity. The Free City Lord becomes a hero of the Empire forging this pact. Any Whispering Stone will be released. So that's like the full, like, you can fold it into your empire. Very, very cool. Unfortunately, we don't have enough Imperium right now to boost our allegiance at this stage, but I'm still very happy to have them as they are. That's great. Alright, with Straelak, I am tempted to go over here, but I just don't think I'm strong enough to fight this group at the moment. So maybe instead we just keep an eye on them, and we go maybe clear out this Brigadine camp or something like that. I mean, I want to keep fighting and gaining more experience, that's for certain. There's something over here, Archon Blood. It is occupied, so maybe we can head over there and clear that out. Again, I want to keep fighting. I want to continue to get stronger. That's really important. But again, alternatively, I could head over here and group up with my other stack and see if maybe we can... Oh, and I forgot about this. We already have a skeleton in this stack, so we could have just combined the two we had, but now we can do it right here, so that's easy. Let's do that. We'll cast this spell right now. There's our Bone Golem. Excellent work. We'll send him over to help us out. Thorndusk now can maybe work on... I mean, we could just keep making skeletons, really. Keeping in mind that there's continuing to be that mana upkeep cost, but... or we could take a break from unit production for a little bit, I suppose. Well, we'll think about that, but... The big thing is what to do with Straelak here, so... Again, we could go for the enemy at this stage, but they are very, very powerful, and there's now another unit that's in this stack. Oh, man, so I think he can summon stone spirits. That must be what just happened there. Wow, that's pretty scary. Yeah, so he is way ahead of me in terms of his spell casting. That's, if I'm interpreting that correctly. So you know what? Maybe we'll head back this way. Let's... Do the hasteberries... Oh, they don't have that effect anymore where they restore your movement when you move through them. That's too bad. I was going to say that might be nice to kind of help us out a little bit, but... So let's head over here. Maybe next turn we can take a look at that Archon Blood over there. And then let's just group up right here. And then I guess we can start working our way over here or try and clear some stuff out, but either way... We definitely need to, though, keep active. We don't want to just sit. We need to continue gaining experience and resources by fighting. That's actually quite important for us at this stage. Now, I think we don't have any kind of relationship with this free city at the moment, so I don't want to trespass in their terrain. And unfortunately, I haven't yet researched, or I should say unlocked, the ability to... Here, if we go and look at my Imperium... I haven't yet unlocked the ability to do basic seafaring, so I can't go in the water just yet with this unit, which is kind of a shame. So maybe what I will do is see if I can skirt around... Well, actually, there's water on this side, too, so... I don't know, my scout really can't do a whole lot. What if we go back underground here, maybe next turn? Let's see, can we go... We can't. We need more movement. So we can try going underground, and maybe we can head past this astral rift or something. All right, back to Thorndusk here. We have some production choices. So, okay, excellent. We now have the ability to produce another building here. So, again, the armory is not ready to go. It actually needs... Oh, and I didn't realize this. It requires another forester. I didn't even see that. Same with the academy. It needs a research post. Well, isn't that interesting? That kind of kiboshes my my plan there, but that's all right. Thankfully, the Town Hall 2 is boosted, so why don't we do that? And you know what? Once we have that built, you can see there, negative city stability states give no economic penalties. So I believe that's the result of us being that dark society. That's going to help us out a lot. This is also going to unlock special province improvements, so I think that's going to help us out a lot once we have that going. Let's see. Spell casting. I suppose we could start working on another bone golem, perhaps. Yeah, alright, let's do it. That one's ready to go. And then we'll just make another skeleton, because why not? Once we have that skeleton, we can move him over and combine them yet again. And I guess that's going to do it for our turns, so... Yeah, we have to be very careful not to get too idle here and end up in a position where we're not really fighting anymore. Ooh, it looks like he's coming towards me, though. That's kind of scaring me a bit. And yeah, quite frankly, I don't know if we're strong enough. He's got 4 tier 3 units ready to fight me. I don't have any. I have all tier 3. Did he fight? He might have fought and killed that stack that was here, actually. I wasn't paying that close attention. My vassal city had an army over here, which I think might have just got killed. Yikes. Alright, well, the skeleton can move on over. Bone golem can move up to join me. Can't quite make it to the stack, so for now we'll just have him camp out next to the city here. Now, here's the question. Do I want to maybe pull back to my city and hope that he'll attack me? Or should I try and take advantage of him being in the open ground and engage in a battle right now? I mean, it certainly is tempting to try it. Oh, and look at this. Red Fjorn is, I believe that's the symbol for the throne city there. Let me just double check mine. Yep. So we know where the throne city is. It's got 60 fortification health. We're going to definitely need some more muscle, I think, before we can think about sieging it for real. But between all of our units here, we could consider going to fight this battle. Like I said, I'm just very nervous to do it. Just because these units are so strong. Like I said, I mean, look at that. We could get right up there and do it if we really wanted to. Actually, no, we couldn't. I don't think... Oh, yeah, this unit has enough movement that we could. Oh, boy. You know, this is one of those things. So we've got 596, 374. How much do they have? 39, 750. I mean, this is, you know, an arbitrary measure. We'd have about 100 more, give or take. Plus, we have spell casting, I guess. Oh, I might regret this, but you know what? Let's give it a shot here. You know what? This is one of those situations where we can give it a try, and if it doesn't, you know, if it doesn't pan out for us, well, we'll just have to make do with our decision. Considering it a low-risk battle, although quite frankly, I don't agree with that assessment. I think this is actually a fairly high-risk battle. We'll do it manually. Let's hope for the best here. Okay, now, the reality of this situation is we're almost certainly going to lose some of our units. That's, I think, going to be almost unavoidable. Now, you can see here that these guys have this shield wall, or whatever it's called, where when they go in defense mode, they buff the other units around them, which makes things substantially more challenging for me. They're out of range from my Sundering Curse. Okay, well... I guess the big question is, you know, how can we kind of optimize this? The one good thing is, because we were in friendly domain, we healed up all of our units quite well. But, boy, this is going to suck if I lose some of these guys. I think my undead are probably my most disposable units, as much as I like them. I think they're the ones that I'm going to kind of be more inclined to throw into the meat grinder. Just because I'm able to kind of replace them much more quickly, I would say. So maybe we'll get them sort of up front as best I can here. I mean, my Dark Warriors aren't, you know, they're just tier 1 units. They're not super amazing or anything like that. And Inferno Hound is also somewhat expendable. The Storm Spirit's pretty important because we want to try and get him to level 3, or to tier 3 by evolving, that is. Yeah, so like I said, Undead are going to probably be sort of up front here. Alright, yeah, I want to try and lure them in closer so that I can hopefully make something happen here, but we will see what comes of this. So, we have Dark Ritual. This has a cooldown of 2. You're not in range to throw it at them yet, so we'll have to wait. We do have this warding. Extends the zone of control, so that would increase the resistance and status resistance of units around me, so might actually be worth, you know, hopping up next to one of my other units here. So let's just do that. And then we can move our Warlock over like this, just so that they're all grouped up with defensive tactics. Alright, I think we're just going to wait for them to come to us here. And we're going to have some spell casting capability. I think we're going to need to use our spells in this battle for sure. Let's see what happens. Well, speaking of spells... Yeah, so he used Rock Blast on me. Alright. Yeah, you can see they're moving up very strategically with their defensive wall there, their shield wall. Soul Fire, Frost, and Fire damage. We've got Ice Shackles. Those are really our 2 spells here. I don't know how, truthfully, how helpful these are going to be. They're going to slow a few units, which could be useful. I really think I might be in over my head a little bit, though. Alright, let's see. We can do a Sundering Curse. Oh, yeah, we can throw it on one of these 2. Maybe we'll throw it on the one that's already taken a bit of damage here. Although it might be better to weaken the one that's actually got full health, just for... So why don't we do that? Nice. Okay, that's fantastic. So now we want to gang up on this guy as much as we can. What kind of range do they have to come and attack us? They can... Got pretty decent mobility, so... I think if we just form up a fighting line in front of Straelak here, we can kind of let them come to us. And then we can hopefully hit them with some big damage. So why don't we... And I don't want my units taking unnecessary punishment. They don't need to. We'll go here. We'll go like this. There. Okay, that's great. And now everybody else can fall in behind here. And our Warlock has already moved, but our Archer can advance up here to at least get a little bit closer. Not able to hit from there, but once they move in to attack me, that will work. Spell casting wise here, we might as well do something. And you know what? We also might as well throw on this Dark Ritual. Has that 2-turn cooldown, but hey, at least we can do some pretty heavy damage. Well, I shouldn't say heavy. It really doesn't do a whole lot of damage. But we can throw this on for now. Just looking to see. Yeah, probably right here is the best, so... Ooh, bolstered resistance. So, what did that do? Let's see. Wonder, how did that get applied here? Stacks up to 5 times. Wow, so they just get a straight resistance boost, bolstering. Bolstered defense when hit by melee or physical rate. Bolstered resistance when hit by a magic attack. Wow, these guys are super tanky. That's a very powerful upgrade there. Alright, so now let's throw a spell at them. I'm thinking probably Ice Shackles would be the most useful. Although this one's not bad. I mean, we can throw it on here and hit quite a few units at once. Yeah, alright, let's do that. And then I think from now, we're just going to end our turn, put everybody else in defense mode, and hope for the best here. I really am not very optimistic about this fight, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, look at all that bolstered defense happening. I think we're in tough here. Oh, and you know what? I didn't pay close attention to their abilities. Grouping up like that was probably a disaster for me here. Yep, that was not... Oh, this is not good. I definitely bit off more than I can chew here, I think. Well, let's see if we can climb out of this hole that we're putting ourselves in. The really unfortunate part is that our magic users and archers are now hit by that, this frost snow spirit, and they're kind of out of commission now. They can't really fully use their abilities, although they can at least hit them with a flank shot here, which is good, so let's do that. Okay. At least now we got weaken on this guy, so that should make things a little bit easier for us to hit him with some damage. We can step around with our pikemen and flank him. Nice, there's some regeneration getting applied. Now, meanwhile, up front, our units are in kind of rough shape, which is not ideal. The bone golem's not feeling super great. Our skeleton actually isn't doing too bad. Oh, we've got our dark warrior here. Oh, nice. We can charge around and hit this guy in the back. Let's just double check. Which one of these guys has weaken applied here? Not this one. It's the other one, I think. Yeah, there it is. And you can see it on the left side here of the icons. You got weaken, sundered defense, sundered resistance. So it would be great if we could weaken this guy, but I don't think we're able to because... unfortunately, our archers are immobilized. Cannot move or use movement abilities from what I can see there. Let me just double check that again. Yeah, cannot move or use movement abilities, so they're pretty much out of commission for the turn. So that's really unfortunate because that would have improved our damage output on a lot of these units here. So maybe we'll charge in for this guy then because he's weakened. Nice. Good hit there. Do another one here. Nice. Really good damage on that. Boy, it would be nice to get the kill if possible, but it's just not looking super likely, unfortunately. You know what? Let's run around behind. Oh, shoot. I forgot. Attack of opportunity. That was a big mistake, actually. That one's going to cost me. That was really silly of me to do. Yeah, we got to make sure our Storm Spirit doesn't end up getting killed because that would be devastating for us. We'll charge in with our Dark Warrior. So our Storm Spirit can't really get too involved at this point. Straelak himself is actually in pretty rough shape, so you know what? This is where we're going to use do a spell cast here. We will do Soulfire. Just looking to see. Wow, that does pretty good damage there. What about these guys? Oh, look at that. That's pretty good. I don't think it'll hit our own units for any damage, which is good. So if we apply it here, we'll hit 3. Oh, man, we could almost get rid of this. You know, if we could kill this frost elemental, that would be very helpful. Snow elemental, I guess. So with Straelak here, I'm thinking we want to use Overchannel. So we can cast an additional spell this turn. That would probably be wise, because then we can maybe get a kill on one of these two. So if we do... Well, actually, Straelak himself can I guess, hit him with a little melee attack, but he'll get retaliation, so that's not great. So let's do a spell cast. We'll throw a Soulfire on, and... yeah, now here's the big question. Do I want to kill these guys here? Probably, just because that's more units. I'm just worried about Straelak getting killed by this frost guy here, which would be not good for me. I don't think anybody else can really move. Yeah, this guy, the Bone Golem, we need him to just stay put. Everybody else has already done their thing. I guess this is the only unit that can still move, but he can't get over to even hit that Snow Spirit, so he's kind of out of the question for now. Yeah, this is a tough decision. Do I go for the unit in the back, or do I kind of spread the damage out around up here? Meaning that if I do this again, I'll get the kill on this guy, most likely. While leaving Straelak to just get flanked by this guy if I'm not careful. I think I hate to say it, but I think I have to go for the kill on this guy just to avoid Straelak getting killed. But you know what? I want to do this damage so bad up here. Alright, I'm going to regret this, but here's what we'll do. We'll go like this. And then Straelak's going to throw on over channel. And we're going to hit him again with Soulfire. Nice. Okay, we got the kill there. And now we should be able to actually use our... what does this do? Quantum Inversion, all negative status effects. Nah, we'll ignore that. Restore, we could throw it either on ourselves or we could throw it on our Bone Golem. Alternatively, we could just go and use our Warding to improve resistance and status resistance. Maybe we just do that. There. Okay. This guy we're just going to keep where he is. Our Bone Golem up here could attack, but I think probably better to... Actually, no. You know what? Let's hit. There we go. And then we'll end our turn. Oh, man. I am not looking forward to what's about to happen here. Let's see. There's some bolstered defense. Support unit moving in. Doing more buffs. Ouch. More mobilization happening. Okay, thankfully we dodged the damage here for Straelak. But we are taking some flanking punishment here. Uh-oh. Fire damage for undead. That's not good. Okay, my Bone Golem's definitely about to go down. Ouch. Thankfully, the Bone Golem does produce a skeleton on death, which is helpful. Straelak now could do a Magic Blast. We got to get rid of this Snow Spirit. I hope he doesn't explode when he dies. Forgot to check that. Doesn't look like it, thank goodness. Okay. This Stone Spirit in here is causing us some grief. Let's hit him with a Charge Strike from behind. Our Inferno Hound's kind of in rough shape as well. We can get in here and do a flanking shot. Pretty good. Not the kill that I was hoping for there on either of those melee attacks. What about Soulfire? Nice. Soulfire would take him out, but I'd rather hit multiple units with that if possible. Oh, like, look at this. That does a lot to the Scout. Not surprising, given that it's a Scout. Let's see. Dark Warrior here. I mean, between our Dark Warrior and our Bone Golem, we can get the kill on this guy, I believe. The Warlock is tied up with this Frost Snow Spirit. Keep calling him a Frost Elemental. We definitely need to get the kill on this Stone Spirit, though. So let's see. Alright, we're going to go like this. And then we're going to go like this. There we go. That's great. This skeleton, I think, is just going to hang out in defense mode. Straelak can blast, like I said, blast this guy for some big damage, hopefully. I mean, it's really not going to do as much as I was hoping it would do, but at least hurt him pretty good. This Dark Warrior can charge in and maybe start engaging the support unit over here. probably be wise. Alternatively, try and get a bit of a flank going over here. I think it's probably better to go tie up this support unit, so let's do that. All right. My skeletons here can perhaps... Well, they can't help with the snow spirit, so that's pretty much off the table. All right, here we go. We're going to just go toe-to-toe with this guy. Okay, now, can we get the kill? Oh, not quite. And the stab's not going to do it either. Someone has to hit this guy. So our archers are going to have to retreat back and try to hit him, I think. There we go. Alright, and then let's blast him. Perfect. Straelak can get the finish now. So why don't we do just that? Magic blast them into oblivion. There we go. And now our warlock, thankfully, is freed up and can throw a Sundering Curse on somebody. And I think it'd probably be best on one of these two guys here. So why don't we throw it on... maybe on this one here. Okay. Now, the skeletons are going to kind of protect me a bit, so we'll move the other skeleton over here, I guess. We'll guard up. Straelak has done his thing. Everybody else is pretty much moved, I think. Gosh, sorry, this battle's making me sweat. I'm using up a lot of my mana, but I think it's worth it. It's slow. Cannot do retaliation attacks. That might have been actually a wise move earlier had I thought about it more. Just looking to see which one does more damage. The Ice Shackles, it's not bad, and it can slow them, which would be helpful. Versus Soulfire, which does a fair bit of damage. Boy, you know, I should have probably cursed the shield unit rather than the pikemen, now that I think about it. Alright, let's do this. We'll slow them. Alright, we'll end it there. That's all our spell casting for the battle. Okay, wow, look at that. Strengthened, healed up. Oh, man, and there goes my other bone golem. Although, thankfully, created some more skeletons to help me out. Okay, the scouts are moving up as well to blast. Oh, my poor Inferno Hounds, they're getting annihilated. Okay, now we just have to let these guys have it here. Now, the good news is we've got Dark Ritual ready to go. And we can use it and reanimate some of our troops here. So, if we were to use it on this side of things, definitely want to get an effect from it. Alternatively, let's just see what kind of damage we do here. Magic Blast, we can do some pretty decent damage to this pikeman, actually. But I think I'd rather do this because then I get a unit back. So let's hit him there. Yeah, there we go. Now we got a decaying zombie that can help us out. You know what? Let's put the zombie... Yeah, we'll just go right in there with the zombie here and hit him. Nice. And we'll use our temporary skeletons there. And then this one can go for the kill. Perfect. Alright, there's one down. Now, our warlocks here probably need to step up a bit. Ooh, you know what? I shouldn't have done that because now I blocked the pikemen from getting in there. Well, we got to get some cursing going, so let's do that. Okay, removed strengthened. Okay, we've got this skeleton in there, so that's good. At least we can hunker down with them. And then we can step our bowman up right here. Give him some business. There we go. Very good. Meanwhile, our Dark Warrior over here can hit this unit for some damage. I should have maybe charged around behind and hit that support unit for more damage. That was probably not the smartest move. And as I said, I shouldn't have done what I did, because now the Night Guard have to go all the way around before they can actually get into the fight. Now, one thing I can do, though, is I can swoop around behind, flank the heck out of that scout, which is good. And the Inferno Hound can also do that. Swoop around here. We can flank there, or we can just do some heavy damage here, hopefully. Not quite the kill, but very close. I want to keep the Storm Spirit out of it, just because, again, I can't afford them to die. And then we're going to end it there. Alright, let's see what happens. Oh, yeah, there goes the Inferno Hound. Poor guy. Ouch. Alright. We'll get the kill here. Perfect. And then we can tie them up with some more damage over here. Alright, now it's just a matter of dealing with this Bastion, who's just devastatingly strong. So we just got to hit them with everything we've got, really. Alright, there's some damage. There's a little more coming their way from the Warlocks. Getting weakened applied to them, which is helping. Do a little more here. There we go. And then what we'll do is we will move the zombies in, because they can hit them for damage, and we don't have to worry about these units that are temporary, full of temporary health, because I don't think we're going to get to keep them anyway, so might as well just go surround this guy. Nice, we're getting regeneration applied as well. Because he has weaken, of course, so now that's really helping our units out. We can send our Storm Spirit over to get the kill on this side of things. Nice. Okay. And move over for the defensive tactics, and then we'll end it there. Okay, going after the zombies, that's fine by me. And then Straelak here can step right up. Actually, probably better to go over here now that I think about it. Hit him from kind of the side. There we go. Although I don't think it really matters. These guys can guard from pretty much every direction. And then why don't we just gang up on them with everybody else we've got here. Alright, now just kind of poke this guy to death. It's going to be death by 1,000 cuts. Well, definitely not my smoothest outing, but we survived, and that's the important part. So it's really unfortunate. Oh, and look at this. So we actually, it looks like we do get to keep the skeletons that are produced as a result of the bone golems dying. Well, that is very cool. I would have never guessed that. I'm just going to double check here. So when they... Yeah, so they don't evolve, but I could still combine these guys to make... oh, and look at that. Okay, the Storm Spirit is now elite rank, which means we're getting much closer to that Storm Spirit. And everybody else pretty much survived. I mean, we didn't lose too many units. We lost the Inferno Hound, and all of our bone golems became skeletons. But we can use that spell to at least kind of revamp them back into what we need. So I'm not too upset about that. So why don't we cast that here if we've still got the... Yeah, we're ready to go. So we'll cast it right there. Yeah, and there we go. We got a bone golem back. So all things considered, that went pretty well. Definitely, you know, not my smoothest battle, but certainly not my worst battle, that's for sure. And that was a pretty major fight. We dealt a pretty heavy blow to my opponent here, I think, because that was a very powerful stack, a lot of tier 3 units in it. And my ruler leveled up here. Nice. Okay, we can apply something, so let's do that. I'm probably going to go down to support. Yeah, there it is. So, let's see. Soul Collector, chance of inflicting Soulbound. Experienced Leader. Well, Army Leader, all non-hero units in the army gain 2 experience each turn. I quite like that. And the strength training isn't bad either. I think I'm going to grab the Experienced Leader. And then what I'm going to do as a result of that is I'm going to, now that, we'll just double check that we have it. Yeah, Experienced Leader. So I do want now to swap out some units. So we're going to move this Skeleton over here. And we're going to move the Storm Spirit back here. And the reason for that is that I want the Storm Spirit to continue gaining experience to get closer and closer to that eventual level up. Now, one thing to note is that when I do create that Bone Golem, it looks like it starts off at the lowest experience level. And I don't think it matters how much experience the skeletons that went into forming the Bone Golem had. So that's just something to remember, that you are losing some of that experience. But the Bone Golem is still a pretty decent unit, so not the worst idea. Oh, okay, and that is guarded. I was going to say, oh, look, we could grab that, but that is guarded. So we'll jump back underground here. And then let's go cruise on through this Astral Rift and see... Oh, but you know what? Now there's units on it. I'm sure we'll probably get attacked here if we stay down here. So actually, let's go back up to the surface. Don't really want to mess around with that. Crossblades is now ready. Pick a new research choice here. We've got Baneful Curse. Let's see. Enemy units in a 1-hex radius gain Sundered Defense, Sundered Resistance, and Weakened. I don't mind that at all, because then we can really hit him with that Weaken. Oh, but you know what? Summon Lesser Snow Spirit. This would be fantastic. We're going to grab that because I think being able to summon a unit to help out with stacks would be very useful. And, of course, these guys can evolve into a Snow Spirit. So, yeah, I definitely want to have this spell. Evil Presence lingers. That's the Astral Rift. Okay. If we jump back up to the surface, let's just see real quick. So, I mean, you know, I'm not too upset with how this episode went. Like, again, could that battle have been cleaner? Absolutely. I could have made some better choices, especially if I would have paid more attention to some of the abilities that those units had. I didn't really look closely, and that definitely hurt me a little bit. But I mean, all in all, that didn't go so badly, and I was able to win the fight pretty well and keep most of my units around. Plus, we learned something very important, and that's that when we look at the Bone Golem, and he does die, disassemble, it spawns in a skeleton unit, which we actually get to keep. I thought it was like a temporary unit, but we actually get to straight up keep it, so that's excellent. Very happy about that. Well, you know what? I think this might be a decent place to end the episode. I know we didn't get a whole lot accomplished, but we got a fairly major battle completed, and I think that really helped us out. I learned a bit, too, about paying more close attention to whether there's an actual requirement for these structures, because now that I know that, I have to really watch. I built that extra quarry, and I kind of did it without paying too close attention, which is a bit unfortunate, but... Wizard Tower Foundation. So yeah, okay, we're gonna have lots of upgrades here, and we're gonna have access to special province improvements like the Dark Forge and the School of Cryomancy. Very, very cool. So we'll definitely want to check those out next episode, but I think that's a great place to leave it. So hey, fairly successful battle. We know where our opponent's throne city is. Now it's just a matter of, you know, are we strong enough to maybe consider trying to siege it at some point, or, you know, are we going to be in tough there? I think so. And again, I don't have much experience with the siege system, so we're going to have to figure it out as we go. So why don't we save it right here? We'll call this First Series Episode 4. As always, guys, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.